Elyse Smith is standing by with a look at your forecast. Hey, Elyse.
Hey, good morning. Today is going to feel like an early taste of summer here in Southeast Texas, especially when you step out the door this morning. You're going to notice it's a little humid, a little muggy out there, and warmer too with temperatures right now. It's only 69 in the city of Houston this morning, so definitely a warmer start to the day. And with the humidity, we will run into a few areas of patchy fog. Where are we starting to see it? In the areas we typically do. In those lower elevations, already starting to see some fog in Columbus, just west of the Brazos River. We'll likely have some foggy spots along I-10 west of the city of Houston and potentially east of the city as well. However, winds this morning are slightly stronger and coming out of the southwest, so that fog might be a little more limited this morning than what we saw yesterday morning. What won't be limited, though, is the warmth and all the sunshine. High temperatures today soaring into the upper 80s, 89 degrees for a high temperature here in Southeast Texas and Houston, but 90-degree weather from Waco, Austin, San Antonio. A very warm day here in the state of Texas for March standards. I know we're not strangers to this kind of heat, that's for sure. And one thing we are also talking about this morning is the total lunar eclipse. Such a fun event to see, so cool. That's when you have the sun, the earth, and the moon in perfect alignment, but the moon is on the backside here in this. And what really happens is you get that sun's light, the sun's rays, it shines through the atmosphere of the earth, and then only the red light is what's posted or what you see on the moon. And that total lunar eclipse, though, I know we're talking about it, it's at 2 a.m. tonight, but we could have some cloudiness that might ruin the show. So we're going to show you future check with that cloud cover if you want to time out trying to see the lunar eclipse coming up in my next forecast.
Okay, Elyse, good stuff. Thank you, meteorologist Elyse Smith. How's the forecast looking?
Hey, good morning, Charlie. Well, it's going to be a warm day here in Southeast Texas with high temperatures topping off in the upper 80s. 89 degrees is our forecast for today, which would actually break the daily record high temperature for today. That's 88 degrees set back on the day in 1942. So we could break a long-standing record today with how warm it's going to be. So if you're heading to the rodeo today, I think it's going to feel more like summer than it is going to feel like March springtime weather. And it's going to be a party, of course, with John Party taking the stage tonight. Very warm with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s by the time you're heading into NRG. That will actually probably feel nice and refreshing with how warm it's going to be. And then temperatures falling into the mid 70s by later on tonight. This is all with our next big weather system that is going to be rolling in tomorrow into the weekend. Big upper level low starts to move across the country tomorrow. We're going to be on its warm side, its breezy side, but by Saturday morning, we'll have to be watching this system carefully because its cold front could produce severe weather across the southeast. I believe Southeast Texas and Houston is just going to be on the cusp of that potential severe weather where we could have some showers Saturday morning, but the severe weather threat for us for Saturday, very low at this moment. Not necessarily for our friends farther to the southeast. Otherwise, behind that rain chance is cooler weather with temperatures falling into the 50s by Sunday morning. So your weekend forecast at a glance, we are keeping a small rain chance in the forecast for Saturday morning. I do think it's going to be a brief window where we have that potential for a few showers. Then they should be out of here by the afternoon. Then on Sunday, of course, a cooler day, but more seasonal, what we typically see here in March this time of year. Now, this morning, I am expecting for a few areas of fog to develop with how humid it is. I know the skyline right now, it looks a little hazy, and that's because we do see some haziness, some fogginess out there. It's very warm this morning. 69 degrees in the city of Houston and closer to the coast in Galveston right now, 69 degrees as 67 degrees. So very warm start to the day here as we round out spring break. Let's walk you through future track though to show you what to expect for the rest of the day and that cloud cover for tonight. So this morning we are expecting a few areas of fog or some of that very low cloud cover that can develop when it's warm and humid outside, like what we see in the summer, but sunshine dominates for the rest of the day. By 7 p.m. we start to see some of those thin high-level clouds move in from the Gulf. Then they become a little more thick. So here's 2 a.m. It's looking pretty cloudy for Houston tonight. Unfortunately, that's when we have the peak totality of that lunar eclipse as well. So if you want to start to see the lunar eclipse earlier into the evening, just to start to watch it, that's your best bet. Usually NASA also has a live stream of it you can watch online. And then for tomorrow morning, we're going to likely have some of that low-level cloud cover, so a stray sprinkle or two can't be ruled out. Now, your 10-day forecast, a very warm end to spring break. Our next big system rolls in for the weekend, though. That cools us down as we head into next week, but beautiful weather. More seasonal for March with great weather continuing into next week before our next cold front moves through.
Thank you, Elyse. Elyse, what's the cloud cover going to be like? Are we going to be able to see this?
That's what I was going to say. Will you be able to see it? Is it going to be visible? You know what? It's going to happen no matter what, because this is happening in space, right? This isn't necessarily happening on Earth, but we are forecasting some clouds to develop tonight that will roll in overnight into early tomorrow morning. And that maximum eclipse time is going to be at 2 a.m. And unfortunately, that's when we could just start to see clouds begin to thicken up. I'll show you that on Future Track, but you can start to see that total eclipse again beginning early into the evening hours tonight and tomorrow morning. So hopefully we're able to catch at least a little bit of it. Meanwhile, today, the big story besides the eclipse is the record warmth. We're forecasting a high temperature of 89 degrees here in Houston. That would break the daily record high temperature for today of 88, set back on the day in 1942. That just goes to show you it's not normal for us to be this warm this time of year. So if you're headed to the rodeo and you have your typical little outfit with the denim and some cute boots, you might want to find a way to cool off today, because it's going to be so warm this evening with temperatures in the mid 80s by the time the gates open at NRG. So you might want to get in there early just to cool off after being at the rodeo. But you know, it's going to be a party with John Party on the stage today, and then temperatures falling into the 70s by the time the rodeo is letting out tonight. The next big weather system, though, rolls in quickly. We're talking about it as soon as tomorrow. This big area of low pressure, it could produce snow to severe storms across the region tomorrow and into the weekend. Houston, thankfully, is on the southern side, the warm and breezy side, and it should be far enough away that we miss out a lot of the severe weather activity. But it's a close call. We are going to be just on that edge where we will have very intense thunderstorms Saturday across the southeast, but potentially just a few showers here on Saturday morning. Then we get the cooler temperatures for Sunday morning. So timing out your weekend now, that rain window is going to be sometime Saturday morning. Then the showers will quickly move out for the afternoon. Then we don't really see that cooler air sink in until Sunday morning, with temperatures falling into the 50s and only rebounding into the low 70s. Meanwhile, here's a live look to Houston. You can see it's a little hazy out there. We do have some areas of fog developing across the region this morning. That's because temperatures only in the 70s. Yeah, it's only 70 right now. Very warm outside and humid as well. In Galveston, it's 65 degrees, close to the water temperatures. Not too worried about any sea fog right now in Galveston. We'll see a couple of areas of fog elsewhere across the region. Here we go on Future Track. We're picking up on some of the fog for this morning, not necessarily any rain. And by the afternoon, we start to see all that sunshine that warms us up. But here's 7 o'clock tonight. We start to see thin high-level clouds first. Then we get more clouds to thicken up. So this is 2 a.m. right when we're in totality. Unfortunately, it is looking pretty cloudy. Doesn't mean you won't be able to see it maybe between the clouds, but it is going to be a cloudier start to the day tomorrow, with that chance for potentially a sprinkle or two. Rest of your 10-day forecast, a very warm end to spring break. It's been great weather, though, for spring break this week. Our next big system rolls in into the weekend, and that brings us back to more seasonal weather heading into next week.
All right, Elyse, thank you.